Hello and welcome to this bonus episode for the Tuts Plus series Tumblr Theming 101. In this episode, we're going to look at how we can use less to make adding appearance options to our theme a little bit easier. Now, if you've watched any of the series, especially the stuff where we take our local CSS and add it in line to our HTML, you'll notice that when we start adding in appearance options, we end up doing a lot of copy and replacing. So we basically end up finding some predefined values such as hex or font names, etc., and then replacing them with the appearance option variables. Now, with less, it's possible to actually work around this. Now, as you can see on screen at the moment, this is how I would go about creating my HTML and my less file if I was creating a theme. Now, what I would do is I would take advantage of the variables in less, and as you have seen at the very top of the CSS when we started doing that in the series, I defined all my colors. So what I do in my less file is I use the variables and define all my variables and their values. So less again is a preprocessor, so it'll output CSS. So it's like a helper. So when I start creating a theme or when I start coding a theme, what I do is I create all my variables at the top of my less file. And as you can see, this variable background, the value is color. I can then reference that throughout my CSS. And as you can see, I'm referencing background here. At the same time, I also create the appearance option meta tags. Now these meta tags will match my variables. So for instance, here we have the name background and here we have the value. So this meta tag is for this variable here, and this meta tag, which has no content, is for this variable here. Now, as the way it stands, when we are developing a theme, obviously we need our CSS to look something like this. So this has been generated from this sample.less file, and this is how the CSS looks. Now, obviously, we can't use any of the appearance options yet because the CSS is local or it's in your Dropbox folder and it's being served to Tumblr via Dropbox. However, once a theme is ready to, be put together, all I have to do is I have to uncomment these two. Now, when I create this variable, I also create what I class as the final variable. So this is my development variable, and the final variable, what I want is instead of having the hex color here, I want to return the appearance option variable. So in this instance, background should now include this variable prefixed with color and its name is background. Body font, instead of actually putting Arial, which is done here, I now want it to put the appearance option variable text with the name of body font. Now, the way we can do this is by using escaping on the strings, and I'll link to this in the description. But the very short wind of it is that if you include a squiggly line, I don't actually know what the correct term or for this character is, but if you include a squiggly line before your string, less will ignore it. Now, the example here is actually to show you how to get something Microsoft related past. I think originally I've seen this being used on the alpha filters, which is going back to IE 7 or 8. Anyway, what I can now do is once I finish development of my theme and I want to get the CSS so I can just copy and paste it in here, I uncomment these two variables and click save. And as you can see, my less is compiled. And then if we look at the actual CSS, this is what I've got. Now, if we take that, put that inside the style, as you can already see, this is exactly what we were doing in the tutorial series. However, I haven't had to do any copy and replacing. So that's the benefit I find from using less and setting up these variables from the very beginning. Now, it's one of those, it may not seem like it's simpler, but if you do this straight away, when you've got to the point where you're actually excited about getting your theme out, rather than having to sit there and doing the copy and replace of all the appearance options, you can just do this. And this can be used on quite a few of the appearance options. So you can do it with color, you can do it with text, you can do it even do it with RGB. You can do it with quite a few of them. So that is how I use Less to make adding appearance options to my CSS easier. And again, just to clarify, if we don't escape these strings, like so, this won't work. What would happen is the hex color would come inside these two quotes and that wouldn't work. And again, if you just try to include the appearance variable on its own, like so, Less will throw an error. So what you need to do is you need to make it a string by using the quotes, and then you need to escape it. And then Less will just literally return the value inside that, as you can see here. And that should hopefully make adding your CSS or combining your CSS into your HTML a little bit easier. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, please add them in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video.